Good evening, you're watching Estuary TV News. Coming up, goodbye to a familiar sight in our skies, the big yellow rescue helicopter. Old Friends, a North East Lincolnshire charity, fights loneliness in old age. And I'll be talking to Julie Rigby from that charity, Friendship at Home. Welcome to Estuary TV News. I'm Hugh Richards. First of all, it's over to Dan Kemp for the news headlines.
Hello there. Hull's tallest building has been demolished. The 20-storey High Court tower block on the Orchard Park estate was demolished at midday on Sunday as part of a development plan to build 230 new homes. It's part of a renewal programme that has been reviewed by the Council's Cabinet to demolish 5 tower blocks and refurbish 2 others on the estate to improve the quality of the accommodation. Today marks the start of National Apprenticeship Week. The week is designed to highlight the benefits they can provide and give young people a taste of the industry. Included amongst the events is an open evening for potential new apprentices and their parents or carers at the Engineering Centre on Dane Park Road on Orchard Park. Hull Training and Adult Education is encouraging more businesses to consider apprenticeships regardless of the size of the provider. Ceremonies all over the region raised flags to mark Commonwealth Day in a special ceremony to mark the importance of international ties. A record number of flags have been raised this year to celebrate Britain's relationship with 52 other states, most of which are with former British territories. Meanwhile, the Queen, who is the monarch of 16 of those nations, gave an address at Westminster Abbey in which she highlighted the importance of youth projects, the theme that Commonwealth projects will focus on this year.
We have had people from the Commonwealth here, we have the large fishing industry, we have transited the globe, we had naval and maritime traditions which transcend anything you would imagine exists today, and this history and involvement with the Commonwealth of Nations and with what was previously the British Empire is very, very important.
East Lindsey District Council are to review their position on the sale of Louth Cattle Market site after Asda revised their offer. The council had agreed a sale to McLagan Investments on behalf of the store for the development of a supermarket, filling station and 3 other retail outlets. However, many major retailers have been forced to review their trading conditions, and Asda were recently invited to meet with the council to consider a revised offer, which remains confidential. A man has sustained serious injuries after a road traffic collision on Wattle Ash Hill in Scunthorpe. The collision involved a silver Ford Focus and a black Audi S3, which fled the scene at around 5:45 a.m. on Sunday. Homicide police suspect the vehicle was stolen and the driver and any occupants have yet to be traced. The force are appealing for anyone with information on the collision or the identity of those in the Audi to contact them. That's all from me for now. Back more from me next time.
For all those at North Ferriby United, their knees are getting trembly. They're on their way to Wembley. They've already sold over 2,000 early bird tickets for the FA Trophy final, where the Villagers will play at the National Stadium on Sunday, the 29th of March, for the chance to lift the silverware. Winners in recent years include former league clubs Cambridge United, York City and Wrexham, and it's the 2013 winners, who'll provide stiff opposition for United. Dan Kemp went to find out how Ferriby are getting on off the field on their road to Wembley.
Just over a week ago, this happened. Now the club have been down to Wembley to scout out their changing rooms and take in the venue ahead of their visit on March the 29th, and it was some experience.
It was a great day. It was just about sort of like the arrangements, but you just have to pinch yourself to believe you're there. It's just an incredible place. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic day on the 29th. As you would expect, the organisation is absolutely terrific. The facilities are wonderful, and it's just surreal, really. Hasn't really sunk in yet, I would say. Well, they've been going on sale just about a week. They've just there's been an early bird offer, but we're up to about 2,000 sold for the Ferriby end at the moment, which is an absolutely fantastic start. Wrexham have sold 8, so there's 10,000 gone already. And the game generally gets 20,000, so it's well on the way. Hopefully we can beat that.
And Ferriby's goalkeeping hero Adam Nicklin can't wait to get there.
Never played there, so it's a first thing for me, but yeah, just really excited. Can't wait to get there and get my boots on.
It's what we all dream of, isn't it, really? So, yeah, it'll be fantastic. It's going to be a little bit difficult because we still got a football match to win. So we want to. We don't want to go there as tourists as such. We want to, enjoy the moment, but we also want to sort of bring the cup back. So it's a balance we've got to get right now between now and March the 29th.
Richard Morris joins me now to round up the weekend news. Richard.
Hello, Hugh.
More sports, I think.
Yes, we're going to stay with football. Residents have become divided, apparently, in Grimsby about the new £22 million sports development for Grimsby Town Football Club. This has obviously been hugely controversial. They've been having many consultations over the past few weeks, and the final one was on this Saturday just gone. The club now has until June the 4th to submit a formal planning application to North East Lincolnshire Council. However, the survey is going to remain open to fans and residents until 5 p.m. on March the 13th.
So North East Links Council makes the final decision?
They absolutely, it's still obviously up for discussion about.
Where does Grimsby Town want to move its home to?
They would like to move it to the fields just by Peaks Parkway. Obviously, it's a relatively sort of safe choice. There's lots of space there, you might as well. But obviously local residents are a little bit concerned about drainage, transportation issues and that kind of thing.
So this would mean that for the first time in its long history, Grimsby Town would have a home ground in Grimsby.
Yes, indeed, because of course at the moment it's sort of slightly along it's just into Cleethorpes, which I always think is slightly odd.
What are the objections?
Obviously, many people are concerned about drainage, roads. They're very concerned as well about the possibility of shops being built there. They're just very concerned about the level of excess traffic that would build up. There's also allotment owners very close to the site, and obviously they would lose all their allotments. And there's lots of people who say we're pleased for them to have a new stadium, but just not here, which of course is not in my backyard.
That story is still moving on. There's more building work in Scunthorpe.
Yes, £45 million for local schools in Brumby, Henderson Avenue, Crosby, Baysgarth, Vale, Burton and The Grange, all in North Lincolnshire. It's a huge amount of money, and Oasis Academy, Henderson Avenue, is being sort of particularly singled out by the Scunthorpe Telegraph in a project worth £5.4 million. They're planning on building this within sort of 10 months, so by January 2016, apparently they're going to have a brand new efficient building, and the head and the principal are all very pleased with it.
10-month building schedule, that's extremely tight. If I know project engineers, they'll be worrying over their Gantt charts.
Indeed.
Richard, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
We'll do it next week. You're watching Estuary TV News. A little later, we visit Catherine Price of Grimsby Minster for our weekly reflections, and Dan Kemp will bring you all the sports news. In the past few years, it's become a national concern. How do we combat loneliness in old age? One local charity thinks it has the answer, running get-togethers and days out for group members. Richard Morris went along to find out more about Friendship at Home.
A community charity started in September 2006 is now looking for more volunteers for its services. They currently have over 300 older people cared for by the charity, and demand for the helpers is growing. Julie Rigby, manager at Friendship at Home, explained more.
On our books in total, we have 308 older people that we look after, but on this Thursday group here today, we have anything between 45 and 55 people that will come along. Our Tuesday group has about 30 and our group on a Monday have about 45, 50 as well. Well, we run the groups because for older people, loneliness and isolation is a really big issue. So if we can get people out and making new friends and doing different things, because we don't just meet on a Thursday, we have a day trips as well that we do. We have a lunch club that they go to. So there's lots of other things. And then what they've started to do as well is to make their own friendship group. So they're meeting outside of the group as well.
And the group members taking part on a Thursday afternoon are really enjoying the social aspect.
We get something to tax our brains, quizzes. I mean, we can't answer them all, but no way we have a good laugh. And it's very enjoyable. Something for everybody.
Like the friendship, and yeah, I like the trips actually, to go out. I'd never go out if I didn't go. Yeah, because I don't drive, and I've got artificial hip, so it's difficult for me to get out, but I can with the club.
I come to meet my good friends and have a cup of coffee and a chat, and a little bit of entertainment sometimes, and it's thoroughly enjoyable. And I like the day trips out once a month because I don't drive, and it's marvellous to go with a crowd of people, and it's nice.
And I'm joined now by Julie Rigby of that charity Friendship at Home. Julie, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in. How did this charity start and when did it start?
We started about 7 years ago, and we started as a result of a legacy that had been left to the charity that then was Help the Aged. The proviso on the legacy was that we started a new social activity or some activities for older people in the Cleethorpes area. But as you'll be aware, it all mingles into one in North East Lincolnshire, really, doesn't it? So we cover the whole of North East Lincolnshire now by providing a range of activities.
So that legacy, rather very generous act, have you ever found out who left you the money? Whose bequest was it?
We haven't, no, and we will often say we'd love to know who it was, because if there are some family out there or whatever, if they could come and see actually what a difference that legacy made, because it was it lasted us for the first 3 years of our funding. Then we were very fortunate to get 5 years of lottery funding, which has enabled us to grow and grow. But yeah, it would be really nice if we could have the person back to have a look and see what we've done.
And you've got the local commissioning group funding as well. But is the future secured as far as money is concerned?
We're okay until next year. We're in the process of reapplying to the lottery to get some further funding. Our local commissioning group do a small project for us, but we're already in talks with them. So we're hoping that those things will take off, and we do know what a difference we make.
You've do a valuable service, of course. How many people do you look after?
We've currently got 300 older people registered with us for our services. They'll have a variety of things. So some may just come to social activities, some may do exercise. But the most important one that we do for the reducing the isolation and loneliness is for those that can't get out. So we will send a befriender into them. So they'll have a one-to-one befriender that will visit their home.
So, I mean, presumably you would send people around banging on doors demanding cups of tea and saying...
Oh, no, not at all, no. All our services are delivered by our volunteers, but of course all our volunteers are police checked, they're interviewed, we take up references and everything, and we'll give them training as well.
You talked about exercise as well, and people perhaps when they're getting old, they don't, the fitness levels go down inevitably, but exercise is important.
Oh, extremely important, yeah, because we have a curling session and they do Tai Chi.
Curling?
Yes.
You've actually got an ice rink?
Oh, not on the ice, no, it's in a church hall, so that's much safer, although it still gets quite cutthroat. But no, so they do curling, they do chair-based exercise and Tai Chi. And part of that as well is that they'll meet afterwards to have a tea and coffee and have a bit of social interaction as well.
Well, that's a great thing, isn't it? It's just getting everybody in one room. You don't need anybody else, as long as everybody can meet everybody else. That's the companionship.
Yes, yeah, that's right. And then they start to look after each other afterwards as well, so outside of the groups that they're meeting in as well. So yeah, so it works really well for them.
Julie, we'll come back in a moment. Thank you very much. We've all seen that yellow speck in the sky, the military search and rescue helicopter scanning the coast or the countryside. The chopper and its crew save lives, but they also like to engage with the community they serve. And yesterday, patients from St Andrew's Hospice in Grimsby got a special visit from the crew. It was one of many activities centred around last chances for people nearing the end of their life, and the helicopter too is winding down. James Dunn has more.
From RAF Leconfield, this is a familiar sight in our skies, but usually you'll only see it up close if you're in trouble. This visit was a unique chance for the crew to engage with the people they serve in better circumstances.
We like to support the local community, and especially a day like today, 14th anniversary of the hospice. It's the local area, we're out training anyway, it's an hour out of our time, but it's probably going to be a big day for the patients.
Many of the children and adults here are approaching the end of their lives, so today may have been their last chance to get a glimpse of the seeking up close and personal.
Well, he was quite impressive in the air, wasn't he? It's kind of larger than you'd expect. But they need to be that large, presumably, to take stretches. I mean, it's certainly different to the average run-of-the-mill day. Yeah.
It's also somewhat of a swan song for the Sea King helicopter. These military choppers are to be replaced by others run by a private contractor. The first base to shut is RAF Leconfield, with services moving to Humberside Airport, run by Bristow. Other bases all around the country will soon follow suit.
It's the last chance because they finish in 3 weeks, so the big yellow bird won't be around anymore. It'll be a different service. So it was definitely the very last chance you could see it. So it'll be flying around for the next 3 weeks, and after that it'll have gone.
St Andrew's Hospice is all about last chances, but actually this may be the last chance that any of us get to see this familiar yellow dot in the sky.
Time now for our weekly reflections, this week with Catherine Price of Grimsby Minster.
Give us this day our daily bread. That line from the Lord's Prayer inspires the Daily Bread Food Larder. It's the largest food bank in Grimsby, and it's run by CARE, a Christian charity, along with Churches Together in North East Lincolnshire. I spent a day this week with CARE learning about the work they do, not just food, but also housing support. And like other similar organisations, CARE has seen demand for its services increase. Feeding the hungry, giving shelter to the homeless. These are basic moral values. Jesus tells us that when we do these things for someone in need, it's as if we're doing them for him. We should honour one another the way we honour God. Food is something we think about particularly in this season of Lent, when we give up some of life's luxuries and reflect on how fortunate we are just to have a regular meal. But Jesus also says, we do not live by bread alone. Human beings are not machines. We're more than just our material needs. That's why CARE also works with the people who use its services to address all aspects of their lives. I also spent a day this week at Lincoln Cathedral. This grand building might seem miles away from what CARE is doing here in Grimsby, but in fact, they're two sides of the same coin. The cathedral is a centre for excellence, employing 650 people and training them in creative skills like music and stone carving. When we worship God through our skills, we're saying that human beings were designed for flourishing. It's no coincidence they're both called service.
Julie Rigby of Friendship at Home is still with me. Julie, we were just saying that it's predominantly looking after old people, making sure they don't get lonely. What do you define as old?
Well, we work with anyone over 60, but predominantly the groups that we're working with are sort of late 60s right up until we've got a lady that's about 102. She's now in a care home, but we do still go and visit her because we used to visit her in her own home. So we think it's important that she has that social interaction.
Well, I was going to ask, why is it that old people particularly need to be saved from loneliness? But I suppose if you're 102, you haven't got a lot of your old schoolmates left around, have you?
No, definitely not. But the other thing is, Hugh, as well, is that family move away. It's not as like it used to be several years ago. There was much more of a community spirit where the neighbours would look after everybody and everything. Neighbours are out at work, everybody's busy, families have moved away, or if they've been married for a long time and they've sadly lost their partner, all of those can have a huge impact on them. And also if their health starts to deteriorate and then they're not able to get out and about as they used to.
I suppose there's an element, of course, that just as health gets better and our life expectancy gets longer, then the longer we live, the fewer of our old friends our own age they're going to be around.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's going to the demand for the service will just grow and grow because, as you say, people are living longer, which is fantastic. But then we need to make sure that the care and the services are there for them, really, to carry on enjoying life.
Well, the moral of the story then is make younger friends, isn't
Absolutely,
it? Absolutely,
yes.
Ahead. Make sure you've always got somebody to go and have a drink with who's 20 years younger than you are.
That sounds good to me.
So that they can survive you.
Yeah.
You mentioned the technology there, of course, and families going away, sometimes abroad, other side of the world. You can still keep in contact with people, but it's not quite the same, is it, if you're having a Skype telephone call?
No. And for some people as well, technology is just, not what they want to be doing and everything. So we've got one lady who's, she's never used any IT or anything in the past. And over the last year, 18 months, she's actually got an iPad. She's on our Facebook page. So she's taken to it really well. But the vast majority don't really want to go down that road. So it's important to have that really face-to-face, really, and bit more social interaction.
We've spoken about the way you're funded, which seems very sensible and very healthy, but you do need help. How many volunteers do you have at the moment?
We have 80 volunteers at the moment, but if you consider that we've got 300 older people that we're looking after, then obviously that there's a huge demand on them. So we're always looking for more volunteers.
And if people want to become volunteers, how can they get in touch?
They can get in touch with us by telephone on 01472 602 500, or they can drop us an email, and that's admin@friendshipathome.org.uk.
And if people feel that they are getting on a bit and they're feeling a bit isolated and alone, could they get in contact with the same means?
Yes, absolutely. The same number and the same email if they want to use an email address. But we're on the telephone and there is an answer machine, so leave us a message and we'll get back to you.
Julie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now here's all the sport with Dan Kemp.
Crewe Alexandra scored 2 goals in as many minutes to beat Scunthorpe United at the weekend. Greg Lee and Marcus Haber netted the goals that have left the Iron in League One limbo. 8 points from the playoffs and 7 from the drop zone. Elsewhere, Grimsby Town kept up their pursuit of automatic promotion with a 2-1 win at Woking. Ollie Palmer and John Paul Pittman each scored to lift the Mariners to 3rd, with a game in hand over leaders Bristol Rovers. And FA Trophy finalist North Ferriby United lost 2-1 at home to Lowestoft Town. Liam King with the goal in that one. In a couple of other lines of football news, Hull City loanee Tom Ince again scored for Derby County in their draw with Birmingham City at the weekend. And another Hull City loanee, Mark Oxley, kept a clean sheet in taking Hibernian through to the semi-finals of the Scottish Cup, winning 4-0 against Berwick Rangers. In Rugby League, Hull Kingston Rovers fought valiantly, going down 32-24 at the Warrington Wolves. Josh Mantellato ran over 2 tries and kicked 4 conversions. Luke Campbell and Tommy Coyle both came through their fights on Saturday night to continue the pair on course for a summer showdown. The Olympic gold medalist convincingly beat Levis Morales, whilst Coyle came through against Martin Gethin, who have been rocked by an early knockdown. It now goes to the Battle of Hull, which takes place in July. In ice hockey, the Hull Stingrays won 3-1 in Fife on Saturday evening. Carl Lozon, Jordan Mayer and Corey Tanaka each netted for the Rays in that one. But yesterday was a different story as they suffered a heavy 6-1 defeat at the Dundee Stars. And finally, in the Northern Counties East Premier, Barton Town Old Boys drew whilst Bridlington Town lost, and in Division 1, Hall Road Rangers and Louth Town both won, Bottisford Town drew, and Grimsby Borough and Winston Rangers were both defeated. And that's all for the sport.
And that's all we have time for today, I'm afraid. If you have a story, please go to our Facebook or Twitter pages, details on the screen, email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 31 333 553 31 553. Until tomorrow, good evening.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Tuesday starting fine in the east, perhaps with more cloud in the west. However, this will soon clear to leave all parts fine with long sunny periods and light winds. Maximum temperature of 9 degrees. Wednesday, cloud increasing with some rain and strong winds, improving later.